सवैया जोत जीते इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक अवगटारे इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब संत मरे इन्हीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब करोड़ मरे
ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਛੱਲੀ ਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਗੁੱਲੀ ਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਪੂਰੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਉਹਦੇ ਢਿੱਲ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ ਬਾਜ਼ਾਰਾਂ 'ਚ। ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਾਤੀ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਵੈਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਸਾਮਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨਾ ਬਣਾ ਲਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਾਰਮਿਕ ਮੰਦਰ ਢਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਫਿਰ ਕੋਈ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ ਏਕਤਾ ਉਕਤਾ ਦੀ, ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਦਿਨ ਖੰਡਾ ਖੜਕਾ ਦਿਓ ਪੂਰਾ।
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another episode of the Sikh Renaissance. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe below for the latest updates in your inbox. June 1984 dawned like any other month in Punjab's sweltering heat. But by the time 1st June ended that year, the Sikhs and the Guru Panth Khalsa were openly under attack. Again. By whom? The Sanatan Vedic Hindu theocracy and its army. In a brutal, one-sided struggle, 200 to 253 Sikhs under the command of Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale and his military aide, veteran commander Major General Shabeg Singh, the father of Indian Special Forces, who was undeservingly humiliated by his Hindu superiors, unleashed a bitter and savage salvo of bullets against the foe. To every man upon this earth, death cometh soon or late, and how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? On the 7th of June, 3 bodies were hurled out of the crumbling Akal Takat. Bullets peppered its divine facade and holes gaped where tanks had belched their fiery venom at the Singhs. One body was heavily bloodied and disfigured. This was by Amrik Singh, a companion of the Sant and his chief of staff. Eyewitnesses recall how he had charged tanks and helicopters throughout the bloody week while delivering water to the trapped Sikh elderly, women, and children. The second body was heavily mutilated. The disfiguration was deliberate. The torso had a metal bar driven through it with which to drag it. This was Shabeg Singh, as stoic in death as in life. The Indian army took out its anger on his corpse for the significant casualties they received. And the third, that was of the lion himself, Bhindranwale. Half the face was gone, the torso and the back were burnt, the casques were open, but he had died with almost a smile on his face. The fingers were stiff and laced with gunpowder. Even in death, there was a mesmerizing dignity to him. Was he truly dead? 40 years later, Sant Jarnail Singh is the undying enemy. For those spiritually unclean non-Sikhs who seek to convert Sikhs to their false beliefs, his legacy and iron will prove an unbeatable line of defense. For the Indian state, he is more than just a figure. He has become an institution, one that has taken hold of the hearts and minds of the Sikh youth. Despite 2 generations elapsing, the Sikhs still refuse to let go of Bhindranwale. Despite 2 generations elapsing, Bhindranwale refuses to bow down to the non-Sikh world. And what more can a Khalsa warrior want than to die defending the very way of life his forefathers lived and died defending the temples of his gurus, his heritage? We all know the history, we all know the aftermath. Of course, the modern upgrade gang and boomer company think they know best when they accuse the Sant of blindly falling into the Hindu trap and getting thousands killed with him when the army attacked. But does this vindicate the intention the Sanatan theocracy had beyond doing heavy damage to the Sikhs anyway? And what plan do they have to get Sikh out of the bum and lure when they're always saying that, hey, don't become a bummer? Let's face it, their clans and Operation Blue Star never happened in isolation. If we take the birth of Guru Nanak, the founding guru, and draw a line from there straight to today, we will see Blue Star is one big blip in a chronology of big blips. The Shahidi of Guru Arjan, the Shahidi of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the Shahidi of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's family, the Shahidi of Baba Banda Singh, and countless Singhs. The Shahidi of Bhai Mani Singh Ji, the Chota Kalukara, the Vada Kalukara, and on and on. We have always been under attack and will always be under attack. That is the cost of the perfection we pursue. And it is also why Guru Nanak armed us to turn back and crush the non-Sikh world when it comes to annihilate us. We know what happened before Blue Star. We owe no idiot any justification for it, especially mentally emasculated boomers with their resort to, oh, Sikhs don't know how to live in democracy. And we all know what happened after Blue Star as well. The failure of the 1986 Sarbat Khalsa, the infighting between the Kharkus, the betrayal of the movement by the Akali Dal, the regression of Sikh intelligentsia, the forced devolution of Sikh sampradayas and missionaries. We know that. We also know how Pakistan collaborated with India to finally entrap the Kharkus and finish them off. How the USA funded the entire 3HO movement to send certain CIA agents disguised as Gore Sikhs, Akal security, to India and meet with the Kharkus allegedly for delivering them weapons and then betraying them to Delhi, all under the watchful eye of the CIA's counter-terrorism and counter-militancy director James Jesus Angleton. His daughters are also Gaudi Sikhs who run the whole multi-million-dollar Akal enterprise. We know all this. The question is, what do we do about it now? Every June, we cry the same line. Sade naal dhaka hoya, sade nasal khushi hoi, sada eh hoya, sada oh hoya. Yeah, here's a wake-up call. No one cares. No one gives a fuck. We are kidding ourselves that by spreading awareness, we are doing something. That by associating ourselves with the terrorist cause of Palestine, we are doing something. We are doing nothing. And why are we doing nothing? Because we are scared of the past. We worship it so much that we are scared of it. So let's take a case in point. What was Sant Jarnail Singh Ji's mission? The Anandpur Resolution, right? But he was honest when he said that this was a short-term plan. If Delhi attacked Sri Darbar Sahib, it would become a full-blown struggle for an independent Sikh Khalsa-led nation-state, stuffed the Anandpur Resolution. There was a reason why the idiot Darshan Raggi was beaten up and chased out of the Kal Takht, when after the whole anti-Sikh pogroms and Blue Star he kept waving around the resolution saying, let's just ignore the attacks and just focus on the resolutions. We need to appreciate the fact that in real life, there is no such thing as truth and reconciliation until or unless one side wins out. And Santji knew this. This is why in his speeches you hear a constant refrain to force, to necessary violence. We keep fighting not for the resolution but for our rights. The resolution is just one part. Rights are the bigger picture, and they can only be gained and confirmed through the sword. And the past 40 years seem to have proven that worldwide. Now, sure, the liberal idiots will point to some redundant examples from the 20th century, but on closer analysis, their examples fail them. Sword and flame, these are the two most effective tools anyone can have to destroy the enemy and ensure the future prosperity of your own generations, sword, and flame. And Santji's last words indicate that he knew that ultimately non-Sikhs would have to be driven out of the Punjab if Sikh rights were to be ensured, that the demographic war could not be won by the Sikhs until or unless they became aggressively militant as their heritage and faith demands, that the Sikhs are the last, and only hope for Punjab, this ancient land mercilessly raped by Muslims, Sanatan Vedic Hindus, and Christians. Have you listened to his words? Now, Jagraj Singh Tufan was busy resettling Hindus in Punjab, while they were declaring their intent to crush it. That was then, but today, the Taksalis of today have deviated from Santji's vision of Sikh supremacy to some Sanatani hybrid which emphasizes worshipping druggy Santokh Siot Suraj Prakash more than adhering to the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Even though Santji himself said that the Suraj Prakash needs to be relooked at and edited because Santokh Singh made a lot of errors. So yes, in a way, we have betrayed Santji. He refuses to die, but unless or until we Sikhs start adhering to his words and living with the ankh he gave us, we will put that final nail in his coffin. Sure, mistakes were made by his generation, but today it is our generation. Learn from their mistakes and then make our own. But at the very least, let's ensure that we restore the Khalsa Raj of our forefathers, of our Gurus, in all its bloody glory. In these 4 decades that have passed since that fateful day in June, no one has ever bothered looking at Santji as an individual. What were his thoughts, his perspectives, his doubts, his emotions, his considerations? Bhai Baljit Singh Khalsa tells us that he wanted to restore the Khalsa Panchayats of the 18th century that Bhai Harmandir Singh Sandhu resurrected. He also envisioned restoring the armed Khalsa Jathas that had wreaked havoc on Pakistan in 1947 and also planned on reacquiring Sikh territories from Pakistan. All this speak of a Sikh supremacist whose opinions changed. From obtaining the implementation of the Anandpur Resolution to a full blowing out Dharam Yudh against the Sanatan and its allied Islamic theocracies, working to destroy the Sikhs and Sikhi. Now, do you really think Santji would have tolerated this Bhaichara lot letting Sulle into our Gurdwaras to molest our daughters? These Christians coming into our homes in Punjab to abuse our Gurus because apparently their Jesus Christ of questionable parentage is somehow more superior? Or Sanatanis celebrating what happened with Sikhs in Afghanistan? Do you really think he would have stayed quiet at what is happening with Sikhs in the West and in Islamic theocracies? Yeah, maybe the Santji of the boomer imagination would have. The Santji we the youth know and feel in our hearts wouldn't have. He would have taken out 20 for every 10 non-Sikhs targeted. So why do we then, the inheritors of his legacy, his sacrifice, tolerate non-Sikhs harassing us? We're not weak. Don't let anyone convince you we are weak. Santji used to say that a bit of salt in flour ruins it. A handful of Singhs are enough to torment even the numerically mightiest of religions. So why do we sit still? Why have we become cowards? Did the Jathas that, fought to defend the honor of Sikh women in 47 ever sit quietly? They were more than willing to kill their own daughters rather than allow them to become enslaved by Sulle as their Muhammad dictates. Did the Kharkus sit quietly in 1984? They were more than willing to shed their lives for the Guru. The same physical attributes, the same talents, the same intelligence. Everything between us and them is the same. But we lack the heart, the conviction, and the courage. And for that picture of Santji is not enough. What we need to do is have the same spirit of defiance. And that can only be built up when we really decide to tread his path. This is not a question of producing one more Santji. This is a question of becoming like Santji. Did Santji fail in some respects? Yeah, sure. He never openly nominated a leader. Baba Banda Singh didn't either, you might say. But then the Guru Panth Khalsa had survived. By Santji's time, it was dormant, and he failed to appreciate this. Let's call a spade a spade. Nawab Kapoor Singh declared Jassa Singh Ahluwalia as his heir. Santaji never nominated anyone. The movement started floundering and fracturing straight after he died, as the Kharkus started fighting among themselves. Yeah, he could have vacated the Darbar Sahib and left by Amrik Singh and Shabeg Singh to make a last stand while he prepared to continue the war from elsewhere. But then again, for the people who say this, where? How? Why? Why was there no blueprint laid for a total and all encompassing conflict? Can these questions be answered? Hell yeah, they can, but the answers are really gonna be heartbreaking. And this is why I say we need a more thorough analysis, an exploration to see what the reality could have been then that we have missed today. Defiance and a spirit of curiosity, these two combined can allow us to rise again and sidestep the elementary traps that have been laid out for us over the previous decades. Only then can that final fury, the final aggression the Sant felt when the first bullet hit the Darbar Sahib, can be resurrected and unleashed on this spiritually unclean world. The ancient Greeks had a principle called Kleos. If your heroes did the right thing and failed in some respects, it was forgivable. They still contributed towards an overall great result. We need to see Santaji in terms of Kleos. There was a time when even the Sikh Renaissance saw Santaji as the worst thing to happen to Sikhs. But in hindsight, and we will say it, we were wrong. Unless we, the Sikh youth, hold up his legacy of Sikh supremacy in each and every minute of our life, then yes, he has ultimately failed. He entrusted us with his mission, and if we fail, then he fails, but if we succeed, then he succeeds. He handed over his burden to us after easing it with his blood and guts. And yes, the man had guts. He took on the world's fourth largest army and gave it as good as he got. This is the sign of true Gursikhs. They're demon warriors, and if they have to cleanse a whole mass, yeah, they will do it. They have the power of Akal in them to wipe out thousands and make right what has been made wrong. And for this, they make the ultimate sacrifice. And as Achilles tells his men in the Iliad, the immortals are envious of mortals. So the immortals, the gods, are envious of us mere mortals, men. They're jealous of mortals because mortals get to die once, but in such a way that their actions and names continue to resonate across all time. The immortals are deathless and hold no such influence. The gods can't do this. Santaji's name ranks up there among those allied trailblazers who died but still continue to live on and inspire thousands. Who else, now think about it, who else still inspires such a mix of feelings among the Sikhs like Santaji in the previous, 40 to 80 years? Which leader can we say truly inspires us to rise up like Santaji does? If we tread on the Sant's path of supremacy and seek autonomy, then remember he will forever be an undying enemy. An undying enemy to who? Those powers, those people who hate the very existence of Sikhs, who would see the Guru Panth Khalsa destroyed rather than become successful again. But that is his legacy, to be the undying enemy against those who would harm the Sikhs, to be the staunchest, fiercest guardian of Sikhdom and the Sikhs for the Panth and its future generations. Look, the ovens are already starting to heat up in the West. They have never been cooled on the subcontinent. If we are kicked out of the West, we have nowhere to go, to where we can wear the bana and have our shastras. Arguing about vegetarianism, the Dasam Granth, and who next to give langar to Kanayastal will not help us when the enemy comes for our throats. Then the spirit of defiance and the Shastra is the only thing that will be at hand. That was what Sant Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale always prepared the Sikhs for, and this is why he is an undying enemy of the non-Sikhs seeking Sikhi's extinction. He foresaw the hell that will be unleashed on a stateless people. This has always been the way of the world. Acting the mortal minority won't save us, but an independent homeland for ourselves, and only for ourselves, can secure us and the sanctity of our future generations. The Sant had children and a family. He didn't have to die. But as Guru Nanak tells us, Kar kar laskar bhavak tere dharam kare Sikhdari. Within their homes and the hearths of their hearts, your warriors remain forever aflame. Righteousness is their commander in chief. This is on Ang 1190 in the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So, if war comes, let it come in our times, so our children will be free. They came for our heritage. They robbed our library, destroyed one entire generation of our offspring, but we're still here and will be. After the Chota Kalukara, the Singhs swore they would give 100 times more than they received if ever attacked again. It took them almost 12 to 16 months to rise up again after that Kalukara. In Vada Kalukara, they suffered way more losses, but within 8 months, they were slaughtering Muslims, Hindus, and Afghans left, right, and center throughout the Punjab. Akal. That was the spirit of Bhindranwale. That was exactly the spirit he had. That was the spirit of the ancient Sikhs he inherited through his Nam Kamai, but also by learning how to fight and kill. That is the same spirit we need to cultivate. Leave the karcha. We don't need Pai Kanaya anymore. We don't need to be Kanayas. Kanayas are for Khusres. Pick up the karpan. Learn to fight. Band with other Singhs. Read tales of shaheeds, of men and women who fought and died. Endure pain. Learn firearms. And forever remain attached to Punjab. The Khalsa is the last defender of Punjab. Punjab is our mother. Akal Purakh made us her sons. It is for Sikhi and Punjab Sant Ji fought, and it is through us he will keep fighting for it forever. And this is why he will always be the undying enemy for those who would harm the Sikhs, because the Sikhs will be the undying enemies of anyone who hates Sikhi. Now, some brothers have asked that can we share more on the Gurbani we reference in our episodes? So in the episode description, we have provided a link to our Substack. We are an independent brand and receive no annual payment for what we do. On our Substack, we provide a weekly analysis of Gurbani Shabads and their translations. We can use your financial donations to keep up our research. It is there you can find a whole list and explanation of all the Gurbani Shabads we use in our episodes. And this seva is done by us for free. So yes, if you do want to make financial donations, you can. We usually use them for research or helping any poor Sikh who we come across. Now remember, at the end of the day, to live like Santji, it is no good sitting in a pora, maybe reading 20 Japji Saabs, 40 Jap Saabs, or doing the Mala. You have to be like Santji. You have to be able to take the pen. You have to have that warrior training. And as Pai Mangala told us, wherever there are 5 Singhs with the same vision, just understand that is a Gurdwara. So that is what needs to be done. Our Gurdwaras are not in our hands today. Unfortunately, there is a better reality. Any youth who goes to the Gurdwara today and thinks about opening a MMA gym, a boxing gym, a jiu-jitsu gym, whatever, 100% guarantee the boomers are going to start getting you blacklisted in India because they know what way you will be going. But now imagine having a gym where you're learning combat sports with a picture of Santaji and the 84 Shaheeds on the walls and all the other Shaheeds we have had in our history. Look at how that will empower and enliven the youth. And this is a massive necessity because the war that is coming in the West, the fight that is coming in the West is going to be pretty ugly. And it is all well and good saying, oh, ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਹੀਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਕੌਮ ਆ, ਸਾਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵਡੇਰੇ ਸੂਰਮੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. But yeah, if we can't live up to their legacy today, then we are fucked. So please start learning how to fight and also start thinking about the future of our qawm, both in the West and in India. So until next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
सवैया दुत जिते नहीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं के प्रसाद सुदान करे अक अवगटार इन्हीं के प्रसाद इन्हीं की कृपा पुण्य धाम भरे इन्हीं के प्रसाद सो विद्यालय इन्हीं की कृपा सब सत मरे नहीं की कृपा के सजे हम हैं नहीं पोसो गरीब